Good morning. This is the Duke of Fremont Street in Las Vegas, Nevada. Today is lucky 11/11, November 11th, 2021. Here in the United States, we celebrate this date as Veterans Day, and we honor all those that have served. I wish to welcome you to my channel. And I wish to thank all our veterans for their fine service to our country here in the United States. Salute. Extraordinary. Let me begin with saying today's market, we opened up fairly well. Currently, silver is 25.17 bid by 25.27 ask. We're up 54 cents. That's a fairly decent move. Approximately 2.19%. Gold is also up at 1861 by bid, 1862.40 ask. So we're up $11.50, which is approximately 0.62%. We're currently moving way over our 60-day high, which is very, very bullish for the precious metals. Speaking of bullish, I'd like to announce the return of Silver the Bull. And I figured with silver, this would be an appropriate day to bring him back for another cameo appearance. Today's short video is going to deal with the pros and cons of acquiring precious metals. We're talking about physical precious metals, not paper contracts or futures or options. We're talking about the actual possession of these metals and some tips on how to make these acquisitions. Let me start on the downside. Historically, we're experiencing some really high premiums for the special metals. It's a phenomenon that I haven't seen before. The silver in particular is selling for way over the spot price on the world market. So we could speculate all day on why that's occurring. But to me, the important thing is that it is occurring. So you know, we all have to adjust to this phenomenon. As you're well aware, the market is manipulated, and the precious metals eventually will find a top and bottom of its own. I believe the market itself is infinitely more strong than the outside influences that are currently manipulating it. One of the problems with precious metals, the acquisition of physical precious metals, is theft or robbery. And believe me, I've experienced this on more than one occasion. There's some evil forces and people out there, and they tend to think that what's yours is also theirs. And obviously, this disconnect in their mind affects us all when they try to target us as victims. So be very careful with the information you hand out via internet, phone, or in person. Confidentiality works in your benefit. Also, do the best you can to secure your metals. That goes without saying. Perhaps a small safe or a safety deposit box. It seems like there's an enormous amount of scamming and manipulation and con games going on with the metals. So you have to be very cautious with this. Years ago, I actually bought some precious metals before the internet. This was years and years ago, via telephone. And I purchased the metals, sent the bank wire or whatever. And they convinced me that it was in my best interest to have the metals stored on their property, which I did, the silver. So I paid them a monthly fee for the storage. And eventually silver went up and I decided to take my profit, and I did. And with all the commissions and fees and so forth attached to my silver, I actually ended up losing money. I was being charged monthly for the storage of my metals, and I didn't think anything about it. Well, afterwards, a few months later, I found out that this company actually never had any metals. They were doing this to a lot of people, just taking the funds and doing who knows what they were doing with the funds. But there never was. I never did own any metal, so I personally do not trust any parties that are outside my own control. I want those physical metals right in my hands. We have an enigma going on. The prices are depressed, especially with silver. It's less than half the historic high. And the supply is non-existent. So generally speaking, when your supply is short and demand is high, which it is right now, the prices would go up. Ours are flat or perhaps moving up, down, staying in the same range, which is somewhat baffling to me. But I don't feel that this is a negative. I just consider it a buying opportunity to acquire more to my position. Well, enough about the downsides. Let's talk about the upsides of having physical precious metals in your portfolio. Physical precious metals, speaking in particular gold and silver, have universal acceptance. You can go to Timbuktu, you can go to Juneau, Alaska, you can go to Mogadishu, you can go to anywhere, and the metals, silver and gold, will be highly accepted and well sought after. Very few other items or commodities in the world, I believe, have such universal acceptance. The precious metals have over a 6,000-year track record. So, even biblical terms and almost the dawn of history, we hear about the metals being a source of value, a source of wealth, and money for that particular regime or country at the time. I know firsthand that this physical metals, these are actually the little diamonds from Mercury in the Rosebud. I just picked these up a few days ago. I absolutely love those guys. They're perfect for making transactions today or in the future. And this thin little dime has never lost any purchasing power in my lifetime, and I'm 70 years old. So I am confident that the future, the purchasing power of the silver will be maintained. Silver is an easy way, in gold also, to measure your wealth, because you acquire it in units, whether it's ounces or dollars or whatever, and you stack it. So there's no ambiguity. You know at any given time by taking an inventory of precisely what your net worth is at that time. You absolutely have total control of your finances and your wealth preservation with physical metals. We don't have to worry about the grid being on or off. We don't have to worry about being outlawed or being unlawfully acquired by others, like a government, for example. There's no way that I believe the government will at least the United States government will try to confiscate the silver and gold like they did back in the 30s. And if they do, you'll always have the option of deciding what to do about that. You're totally independent of banks. You're totally independent of any financial institution. So I believe that this is definitely in your benefit while acquiring silver and gold. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do have a lot of experience in this. I've been working with the precious metals for over 50 years. And I'm going to try to give you a few tips on how and how not to do it with your acquisition of the metals. Never bet the farm. I've done that before. At one time, I was actually even a degenerate gambler years ago. I moved to Vegas 20 years ago to play poker, so I do like the thrill of tempting Lady Luck. But to be prudent, I would say purchase only what you feel comfortable with. You know what your own finances are, what you need to allot for a rent or a mortgage payment or a car payment or utilities, college tuition for your children or whatever. So I feel that you should take the money that is left over and work with that. I'm slow at about whatever I do anymore, so I would suggest you acquire quietly and slowly and methodically. And never forget that you'll never buy at the low and you'll never sell at the high. So as long as you see the trend, which is your friend, heading your direction, there's no need to press panic buttons or dump or whatever. But don't forget that. You'll never buy at the low and you'll never sell at the high. But you might still make a tidy little sum with your acquisition of the precious metals. As long as you're on the right side of the bet, you'll be considered a wise person. If not, you're taking a relatively minor risk. Because especially with silver, I see very, very little downside to silver today. So once again, if you comfortably invest the amount of money that you can allot for that, your emotions won't take over. Be stoic like the old Spartans, and stay true to your cause. Also, stay informed. It never hurts to know what's going on in the world around you. That absolutely will affect the price of the metals. And never forget that knowledge is power. The majority of people, I believe, are comatose and have no clue of there's situational awareness of what's going on around them. So buck the trend and gain as much knowledge as possible, either through reading or internet or through groups you may join or whatever. Well, anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up for today. I appreciate you and thank you for stopping by, and allow me to toast to you one more time. To your wealth, to your health. Salute. If you get an opportunity and haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. I certainly appreciate your subscriptions. And feel free to comment about this video and all the videos I've put up thus far. Most importantly, I invite you to share my channel and my videos with your friends and associates. I thank you once again for your time. I hope to see you again soon. And if you're in my beloved Las Vegas anytime, feel free to call me in advance and we'll get together. So long.